Today I'm going to walk you through how to do the dead bug exercise, which in my opinion is one of the best core exercises you should add into your routine. So keep watching to see how to do it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here and you're new to my videos, my name is Aaron. I'm an online fat loss coach. I help people lose weight and get strong. And if you want to keep seeing updates for these fitness videos and other healthy eating videos that I do, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. So let's get into how to correctly do the dead bug exercise. And before we do, make sure to give this video a thumbs up as well. So before we actually get to the dead bug exercise, we need to cover two things. Number one is how to position our pelvis. And number two, how to breathe when we're actually performing the movement. Making sure you have these two things down will ensure that you get the most out of this exercise. So I'm gonna split my screen up so that way you can see exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it. So first one is pelvis. What do you want to do with your pelvis when you're actually doing the dead bug? What we want to make sure is that our spine and our low back is nice and straight. So we want to be in what's called a posterior pelvic tilt. Now for reference, this is a neutral pelvis, and then this is an anterior pelvic tilt, and then a posterior is the other way. So it's you can imagine you have a tail and you're trying to tuck your tail underneath your butt. So you have to squeeze your butt to actually go into a posterior tilt. And you'll notice when you do this, your low back will be nice and flat. So when you're on the ground, you want to make sure you're in that posterior pelvic tilt so your low back stays nice and flat. So now how do we breathe when we're doing the dead bug? Let's split the screen up and I'm gonna show you exactly what I want you to do. First, I'm gonna show you what I don't want you to do. What you don't want to do is you don't want to breathe with your chest. So you don't want to be huffing and puffing and raising your shoulders up and down every time that you're breathing. What we wanna focus on is breathing with your diaphragm. So breathing in and out with your stomach. So breathe with your belly. So when you breathe in, you're going to be filling up your stomach and taking that breath in. Shoulders are nice and relaxed and you're filling up that stomach with air. And then, well, you're filling up your lungs, but it feels like you're filling up your stomach. And then when you're breathing out, imagine you're pushing in that stomach. So you're pushing in that belly button and really imagine you're trying to like push your belly button in toward your spine. So you're really forcing that air out with your stomach. So it's just in and out with your diaphragm. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed. So now that you've got those two things down, the pelvis and breathing, let's go over how to perform the dead bug exercise. Okay, so our starting position is going to be flat on the floor. And remember, step one, we need to orient the pelvis. So we need to go into our posterior pelvic tilt. So the way you can kind of imagine this, because it's hard to imagine you're tucking a tail between your butt cheeks when you're laying down. So a good cue for this one is to imagine you're trying to move your butt towards your heels. So we need to move our butt towards our heels, and there we go. We have a nice and flat lower back, and we're going to maintain that position. So we don't want to be here. If you can stick your hand underneath, then you know you're not in the right spot. So let's flatten that out, and I can't get my hand anywhere under. So I'm going to keep that pressed against the ground the entire time. Now we need to raise our hands straight up and then have our legs up at 90. So it's almost like you're sitting down on a chair with your hands on the table in a way. So, and then what we're going to do is, before I go over the breathing, I'm going to show you the movement, and then you're going to have to combine the two. So we're going to lower our opposite arm and leg. So if I move my right arm, the left leg is going to straighten out. So right arm down, left leg straightens out, and then we're going to come back up. And then we'll do the same with the opposite side. Left arm, right leg, and then back up. And the whole time, the low back is staying flat. Now we want to make sure we're breathing correctly. So if you remember the diaphragm breathing, what we're going to do is we're going to breathe out. So draw that belly button in and down towards the floor. When we're lowering that arm in the leg, what that's going to do is it's going to help us maintain that flat lower back as we're actually straightening out and actually demanding more of our core. So we're going to breathe out and then lower. Imagine you're really trying to press that belly button in, down to the floor, and we're going to breathe in on the way up. Fill the stomach back up, and then breathe out on the way down. And then breathe in. And then you're going to repeat. So the whole time you want to ensure that this low back is nice and flat. You're breathing with the diaphragm. We're nice and slow and controlled. Try and hold it for a good second and then come back up. So now that you know what to do, I'm going to show you a couple things to avoid when you're doing the dead bug. One of the things you want to avoid is looking like you're literally a frantic dead bug on the ground. So you want to make sure you're slow and controlled. You don't want to be like this kind of thing, kind of scrolling back and forth. That won't be as much of a benefit as being nice and slow and controlled with your breathing and actually holding it at that end position. The other one is try to make sure your hands are straight up, and then when you're lowering, you're not also lowering the opposite arm. It will take a little bit of practice. It does take some coordination to get it together. So make sure it's only the arm and the leg that are moving, and make sure you're not pretending you're like a dog swimming in the water upside down. So that is how you do the dead bug exercise. It's one of the most effective core exercises you can do, especially if you are a beginner. I'd recommend adding it to any training routine. Now, if you do want to know more of the details of all the anatomy aspects and why it is very beneficial to add in, let me know down in the comments and I'll make a video all on that topic for you. So if you found this video helpful and you found it useful, make sure to give this a thumbs up and also let me know down in the comments below. And if there's any more exercises that you would want to see me really break down and show you how to do them correctly, let me know down below as well. So thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you guys next time.